Everybody knows her from Facebook and Twitter. Katie Lance Consulting, Inman News, and the Huffington Post. Please give it up for Katie.
For those of you who don't know me, I run a social media consulting firm up in the San Francisco Bay Area, and I help companies figure out what to do in social media. They bring me in to basically say, you know, we've got some great marketing, we've got some great PR, but we need to figure out what we're doing in social. And so that's really where I help out a lot of companies in the real estate space. I also do a lot of speaking. I'm a contributor to the Huffington Post and Inman News. And I sort of live and breathe this whole thing called social. So I want to start out today with a little bit of a story. I do a lot of traveling. I speak at probably 2 or 3 conferences a month. And I have a little bit of a love-hate relationship with United Airlines. So last year I was on a flight. I was headed towards Toronto for a speaking engagement. Got on the plane at SFO, and we were about 15 minutes in the air when I heard the noise you never really want to hear on an airplane. Kind of this awful engine gurgling, not a good noise, right? And I fly a lot, so it takes a lot to kind of rattle me. And within just a few minutes, the pilot got on the line and said, "We're terribly sorry. We are experiencing some slight engine trouble." I don't think he used the word trouble, but that's what I heard. So we're going to turn around and land at SFO. So we turned around, we landed at SFO. Thankfully, everything was fine. We were all a little nervous. I was texting my husband at 10,000 feet or whatever it was, and we landed fine. Kudos to the pilot and the whole team there. The problem happened when we got onto the ground. So if you'd imagine, this was a packed flight. There was probably 200 or 300 people on this flight. We landed at a gate that did not expect us. So we landed at a gate, and there's another 200 or 300 people waiting for their flight. So in gate 74 at SFO, there were, 500 or so people. And United Airlines, quite frankly, had no idea what to do with us. It was extremely frustrating. There was, mass chaos, and to really top it off, I didn't really feel like United was being very helpful or friendly. They were very stressed out, to say the least. After being at the airport for about 5 hours, I never did get to Toronto. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get to my speaking engagement. And being a social media person, what did I do? I went to Twitter. And so I tweeted. And I sent a tweet to United Airlines just, kind of expressing my frustration. And United did not tweet me back. However, I did receive a tweet back from someone. So Virgin America tweeted me back. And they said, "We're so sorry you've had such a rough day flying. The next time you fly, we hope you'll fly with us." So needless to say, I was pretty impressed. I have since flown Virgin several times. I flew Virgin to come out here today. I still fly United from time to time, but what was interesting about this, and I've told this story on several stages, several conferences, it was a reminder to me that just because someone's not listening doesn't mean the conversation isn't happening, right? Just because someone isn't frustrated or happy and they're taking to social media, whether it's Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or all these other networks, doesn't mean that conversation isn't happening. And it was such a great reminder to me. I have to say, United Airlines must have heard that I've been talking about this, because lately they've been very good at Twitter. I sent them a tweet a few months ago about something, and by gone, they sent me a tweet right back. So maybe this whole social thing is influencing them in some way. Some interesting statistics for 2014. These are the top 5 social networks in terms of growth. Facebook, not surprising, 1.15 billion users. Google+, up and coming, 359 million. Twitter, 215 million. Instagram, 150 million. Pinterest, 20 million. LinkedIn's not on this list. They fall somewhere in there as well. But these 5 plus LinkedIn are really what I call the big 6. What's interesting is last year I was talking about social media, and I was just talking about the big 3. My, how times have changed in 12 months. So I'm going to share with you a few really key things that you can do to be intentional with your business when it comes to social media. I want to start with LinkedIn. LinkedIn, in a lot of ways, is what a lot of people call the set it and forget it network. Right? Some of you set this up at some point, and you're getting all these requests, and you don't know what to do with it, and you haven't gone on LinkedIn in quite some time. LinkedIn is one of the most important networks because it's your professional presence on social media. If someone were to Google you, one of the first things that comes up is your website, and usually number 2 or 3 is your LinkedIn profile. So if you haven't updated your LinkedIn profile, say in a few months or a few years, you might be giving that perception that you're no longer in business. So making sure that your LinkedIn profile is updated, that you have a professional headshot, that your experience from the last 10 to 15 years is on there. And in my opinion, LinkedIn's the best way to start in social. If you're someone who's like, I don't know about this social thing, Katie, start with LinkedIn. It's one of the easiest networks to start on. It's also one of the places to connect with people for the first time. You know, we're sitting here at this great event, and you're going to come home with 20, 30 business cards, and if you're like a lot of people, what ends up happening? They end up on your desk, they end up at the bottom of your purse, right? Some of them get into your database, some of them don't. One of the things I try to do with LinkedIn is every time I go to an event, within 24 to 48 hours, I go through my business cards, I search them out on LinkedIn, and I send them a personal note. One to two sentences. I might say, hey, so-and-so, it was great meeting you at the RESA event in Vegas. Would love to connect with you here on LinkedIn. It's a really easy place to start in social. Now, if you've really hit it off, maybe you connect with them on Facebook. But professionally, LinkedIn is a great place to connect with people. Okay, Facebook. So Facebook's the big behemoth here, right? 1.15 billion users. Interesting statistics that just came out about Facebook. 3/4 of Facebook users are using Facebook on their mobile device. 3/4 of Facebook users are using Facebook on their mobile device. So I point this out because if you have a Facebook business page, and how many of you do have a Facebook business page? Okay, so most of you. So if you have a Facebook business page, when's the last time you've pulled it up on your mobile device to see what it looks like? How does your content look? Right? What are your status updates? Are you posting these long status updates where people have to click see more? Right? And then they may not be clicking that see more. Are you keeping things short and concise? Do you have great images? How does your cover photo look? How do things look on that mobile device? One of the things I talk about all the time is getting the right content to the right people at the right time. And timing is everything when it comes to Facebook. Think about what you're posting. Are you posting something on a Monday morning at 7 a.m. or are you posting on Saturday evening or Sunday morning? And thinking about where that person is. They're holding their phone, they're standing in line at Starbucks. What content can you see at that moment that resonates with them? One of the ways that you can know what time people are on your Facebook business page is through Facebook Insights. And one of my favorite parts of Facebook Insights is this particular chart right here, which says, when your fans are online. So this is a great chart to look at where it says, the people who like your page, this is when they're online and when they're most likely to interact with your page. So instead of guessing and going, okay, well, I guess I should post something today at noon or tomorrow at 1 p.m. or 9 a.m., that sounds great. You can look at your insights and see when are the people who like your page most active. Content is king. I know it's a cliche, but content is really one of the most important things. Not just content, but context. What type of content? And what I found are the people and the companies and the agents and the stagers who are most successful in social have some sort of content strategy. Think about your content and what you want to post out on Facebook at sort of a 30,000-foot view. Most of us, when we look at Facebook, we hop on Facebook and we go, what am I going to post today? What should I post today? And what happens is you post something on Monday, then you get busy Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, oh, I'm going to post something, Saturday, Sunday, nothing happens, Monday again, oh, maybe I'll post something. And social media becomes sort of this afterthought. It becomes sort of this thing we don't think about very often. But by using something like an editorial calendar or a content grid to think about what are topics of conversation I could post to Facebook or any of my social networks, really, really helps in looking at your strategy from, again, that 30,000-foot view. So here's my contact information. Best way to reach me is on my website, katielance.com. If you go to katielance.com/Pinstagram-ebook, you can get the ebook. You can get my content grid on there. Love for you to sign up for my email newsletter. We can keep in touch. So thank you so much. I'll be around afterwards for questions. Have a great rest of the day. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.